Hi everybody and big welcome to the cEDh TV gameplay video, joined by Vincent and Cruz. Today I'm actually playing my Pako haldan Divergent. I want to get my two commanders to play, cost Divergent to get fastest leveler to play and win the game in instant speed and acquire value and punching power with the dog.
So today I'm playing my Kenrith standard list with Dockside Phantasmal Image loops. I have also Mythical Excavation for Dockside loops a little bit cheaper, and I have some Spicy added there with some Academy Rector.
Alright, so I'm back at it once again with a second attempt to try and go off with my Rocco Turbo Pod deck. Shout out to the Rocco Discord. Once again, we are trying to forego a lot of the common interaction found in cEDh to try to get out a turn 2, turn 3 win with Rocco as fast as possible. We do this by essentially counting to 7, casting our Rocco to get out Arena Rector, killing it to get out Vivian, which begins our pod line to get Kiki Jiki and Felidar Guardian. If our combo gets interrupted, we still have a Vivian to try to get us some card advantage or try to get us back into our backup line, which is Dockside Teamer Saber.
I'm bringing Tymna Dargo. It's been a while since I played it last on the channel, and Connor has made some innovations on the deck recently, so I'm revisiting it. He's cutting some of my favorite cards, but I forgive him. He's better at brewing than me, so he's probably right, and I should change my mind.
Wow, you're down to 24 lands. That's the lowest I've actually seen.
It's a Citadel deck, you kinda need to.
That's true. So first 7 looks absolutely amazing. We have a turn 1 exploration into a turn 1 mana vault into a turn 2 Pako. And turn Pako is the dream. One problem with this hand is that we don't have the third land for Haldan. So turn 3, we're not really gonna get Haldan into play unless we draw into a land on turn 1 or turn 2. However, having a Pako into play turn 2, swinging, and then having a Flusterstorm and a Braid in hand means that we're still gonna have a good game going forward. You could mulligan this just because getting that secured Haldan turn 3, but still, I'm gonna keep this. Pako turn 2, you're usually very satisfied with that. And there's a huge chance we draw into a mana source here of sorts.
This is our first opening for 7. At first glance, this looks like a phenomenal hand, but at the same time, to the veteran turbo player, this is an incredibly conflicting hand. One of the biggest reasons why is because we want to get out a turn 2 win. Turn 3, ideally, if we have protection. What this hand does is it can get us an obscene amount of mana. The problem is we can untap with, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 mana plus 8 turn 2. The problem is we don't have a reliable way to kill Rocco. We do have Fury in our hand, but we don't have a red spell to pitch the Fury to win on turn 2. We would have to either top deck into one, or we have to waste our turn 2 casting Sylvan Library. Then goes into the thought process. How many cards do we think we're going to be drawing this game before we make a win attempt? Well, we have our first draw for going turn 1. Turn 2 is the second draw. We play Sylvan Library. Turn 3, when we ideally want to win, we will probably pay 8 90% of the time to take the other 2 cards. We're probably going to be drawing 5 cards this game. Of those 5 cards, do we think one of those is going to be red? Very high chance if we look at the deck's ratio. Problem is, I'm going second, not too bad, but we don't have a protected win. So how greedy do I want to be? DMAC, you're probably going to hate me for doing this. I'm going to keep this hand because I love to gamble. In a tournament, I'd probably pitch this hand and probably go for one that's not so risky, but let's try it again.
This hand is actually kind of close to being keepable. If we had the second land, we could do turn 1 wheel, cracking LED in response, which is pretty strong play. It's not guaranteed to work out, but at least we can probably play a Dargo off it, and that's a good thing, I guess. It's fine at least. But on the first 7, that's not a gamble I'm really willing to take, so I'm going second 7. Second 7 has a lot of mana, but nothing really to do with it. We're kind of close to having a turn 1 Wishclaw into a turn 2 activate Wishclaw, crack LED in response, but we're not there, so this would be a turn 3 at earliest, and that's not great. So let's go to 6. So this hand is both really good and a bit awkward at the same time. The fact that we have both Calling and Diabolic Intent is a bit awkward. Turn 1 Ragavan it's perfectly fine. It's not the best, it's pretty good. Ancient Tomb is a great land, but we don't really have anything to filter it into. Necro is great, but we would go really low to cast it on turn 2. I still think I'm keeping this because it's a kind of balanced hand. It's not that fast necessarily unless we top deck well, but we do have a lot of potentially really good top decks. I can see myself going lower. It's not a perfect hand, and going to 5 is pretty fine in this deck, but I think this is good enough. We have tutor payoff and mana, and that's a pretty good start at least. Might just be too turn 2 Tymna, which is kind of boring. But hey, we take what we get, right?
Okay guys, so this is my hand. So I'm keeping 6 for sure. I'm bottling Protein Hook. You don't want Protein Hook in your hand anyway. So first hand was just like a Lands and Orcs, and second hand I did not have colored mana, so it was very straight mulligan. But this hand is pretty good. I think what I'm going to do, I'm gonna play a Birds turn 1, and then try to gamble for a Dockside once we get more like a higher count of enchantments and artifacts. I could see myself gambling for a Dranith as well in turn 2, if that's the case. But yeah, let's see. I have a Diabolic Intent as well to get other combo piece, so I think it's a okay hand.
All right, I'm gonna start us off. I'm gonna draw a card. Oh, never punished. So happy. I'm gonna begin with a Verdant Catacomb. Crack that and find this Taiga. Tap that Taiga for an exploration, which allows me to do an extra land drop each turn. So let's do this Prismatic Vista here. Let's crack the Prismatic Vista for an island, losing a life. Let's tap the island and cast this Mana Vault. And after Mana Vault resolves, I pass the turn.
Okay. I will draw for the turn. So when I talked about the initial plan of the deck is to get out Arena Wreck, to kill it and get out Vivian to start our pod line. To go in depth, we usually Rocco for X=4 to get Arena Rector out, play like a free kill spell such as Fury, like the one in my hand. To kill Arena Rector, get out Vivian. When we plus Vivian, it lets us pod away our Rocco, the commander, in order to get a 4-drop. You know, that gets out Felidar Guardian and Flicker Vivian begins the line. So when we actually draw into one of our combo pieces, such as this Arena Rector here, depending on which one you draw into, it can be really bad or really good. We draw into Karmic Guide, we are in a terrible spot. Drawing into Arena Rector, actually not too bad, because this lets us sandbag like Rocco for X=2, like Grand Abolisher, because then next turn, or maybe if we have a red spell, we can actually just straight up pitch the Fury, kill the Arena Rector then and there, and just win. But the thing is, looking at this hand, nothing too crazy, nothing out of place. It's still turn 3 win. I'm just praying we draw into a red spell to kill the Rector. All right, back to my turn. I will play Windswept Heath. I will crack Windswept. I will get a Taiga, and it'll come in. I'll take 1 life. I will tap the Taiga to cast Soul Ring. I will tap the Soul Ring for 2 colorless and play Talisman of Conviction and pass turn.
Take my turn. Land for turn will be an Exotic Orchard. I'll tap it for a Ragavan. Then I'll pass the turn.
So I will draw for turn. Okay, so we drew this Activated Sleeper. It's pretty bad, so we don't really want this card in our hand, just a 1 dead card. Could try to gamble for something, but kind of doesn't make much sense. We see the dog coming, so I think we are just gonna play these birds just to ramp a little bit for turn 2, and then we'll see from there what we get with this gamble. Unfortunately, we cannot play a Dranith turn 1. That would be the ideal gamble for a Dranith if you have the second a fast mana. But yeah, so I'm gonna just do like a very boring play here. I'm gonna play this Misty Rainforest Bayou, and then tap the Bayou and play Birds of Paradise. That's my turn.
I'm gonna go to my turn and draw a card. I'm gonna shock this Breeding Pool into play, losing 2 life. And then we're gonna tap out for the big Gruul Doggy. I wanna go to combat. Best part of the game. Or not, actually not best part of the game, but when you're playing this deck, this is definitely best part of the game. So I wanna attack at the... I think I have 2. No, wait, you're playing very expensive Protean Hulks in that deck. So we're actually attacking Pontus, because you're more on the Adnos plant compared to the Kenrith. Pako attack trigger. Everyone exiles the top card of the library. I'll hit a Grim Monolith.
Impact.
I will flip a Plateau.
And a Wooded Foothills.
There were no creatures, so it's a 7/7.
Take 7.
And after that, I pass the turn.
Okay, we are going to take our turn. I'm going to talk to the audience real quick. So we drew into a red spell. This turns on Fury. That means we can cast Fury for free. So now comes the problem. We need to be able to cast Arena Rector and a 3-drop creature on the same turn. So what I'm going to do here is most likely I'm going to play a land, play the land, play the Jeweled Lotus. That would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Of that 8 mana, I'm probably going to use 5 of it to Rocco for... I have 8 mana, so I can't cast Arena Rector. I can definitely Rocco for Dockside. I can definitely do that. If I Rocco for Dockside, let's see how much we're making. We would be making 2. That's 3. No, sorry, we're making 3. That's not too bad. That would give us enough mana to cast the Rocco and the Arena Rector on the same turn. Problem is, Mons is holding up 1 blue. and that blue could be a Pongify. The other thing I can do is Rocco for X equals 2 and get out Grand Abolisher. Grand Abolisher will make us wait one more turn rotation before we can attempt to win. But I'm playing Turbo, not mid-range, so I'm going to go for the win this turn. Let's see if I counted up my mana right. I'm going to play a land, Mana Confluence. I'm going to cast Jeweled Lotus. Sack the Jeweled Lotus for 3 green. Tap this for a white, losing 1. Tap this for a green. I'm going to Rocco for X equals 2.
I pass.
I pass too.
I'll get out Dockside for 2 treasures, I believe. I'm going to crack these 2 treasures, tap 2 colorless and a white, and I'm going to attempt to cast Arena Rector.
So now you just need a sack outlet and you win.
I will evoke Fury, discarding collateral damage. I top deck like a god. So when we evoke Fury, basically what happens is Fury comes in for free without us having to pay a mana cost. All we have to do is exile a red spell. When Fury comes in, we can deal 4 damage split among any number of targets. In this case, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do the full 4 damage to Arena Rector. Maybe if there was like a opposition agent out there, I would split 2 and 2. But in this case, I will just do the 4 to Arena Rector. When Arena Rector dies, trigger goes on the stack, I will exile it. It lets me search my library for Vivian on the hunt. So Vivian comes out. So now that Vivian is in play, Fury trigger, which is out now on the stack, sacrifices itself. So because the Planeswalker is in play, I still have priority. What Vivian does is it's essentially Birthing Pod, but free. We can sacrifice a creature, search our library for any creature with CMC +1, put onto the battlefield. Vivian will tutor out Felidar Guardian by sacrificing Rocco. Felidar Guardian ETB. I'll target the Vivian, flickering her. She'll come back at 4 loyalty. I'll uptick Vivian again, sacrificing Felidar Guardian. When I do that, I'll search up Karmic Guide. Karmic Guide will come in, targeting the Felidar Guardian in my graveyard to bring it back. So this is another opportunity for somebody to endurance or shuffle my graveyard back in, something along those lines.
Like this thing that I actually can't pay for because I had to tap out. I didn't top deck a land. If I drew another land, I would have had the mana to do this, but no, carry on.
Tragic. Felidar Guardian comes back in, flickering the Vivian back to 4 loyalty. I'll uptick Vivian one last time to sacrifice Felidar Guardian, getting out Everybody Knows Him, Everybody Loves Him. Kiki Jiki. Kiki Jiki comes in. I will activate Kiki Jiki to make a token of Karmic Guide. The token will come in and bring back Felidar Guardian again. Instead of flickering Vivian this time, I will flicker the Kiki Jiki. And right here, I will activate Kiki Jiki, targeting Felidar Guardian the first time to make a token of Felidar Guardian. And now I can present a way to make infinite Felidar Guardian tokens because each one comes in flickering the Kiki. I will make 300 tokens of Felidar Guardian before stopping my combo, and I will swing 100 Felidar Guardians at everybody for lethal. Good game, guys.
Yeah, losing before turn 2. That's pretty hard to deal with often. We had the Dot in hand, but we never got to even have the mana to cast it. So yeah, sometimes you just die. That's life.
Okay, so the nice thing, I did not have to figure out what to do with my gamble. That was the nice thing. The bad thing, I just managed to cast a Birds of Paradise this game.
If I just top decked a red source of mana, we would have interaction with the Abrade, and then we would have been an amazing game. But, well, it is what it is. cEDh is a pretty fast format.
One of Rocco's biggest strengths is the ability to have what is a 2-card win con with just sheer mana and a kill spell to kill Arena Rector. All in all, I kept a very, very risky hand. It was a turn 3, turn 4 win hand. Granted, that's only if I draw into a red spell.